The abandoned alien ship floated in the darkness of space, broken and silent like a tomb. Its surface was cracked, burned by old battles, and yet deep inside, something was still alive. The human exploration team had entered carefully, lights cutting through the endless shadows, their boots echoing against metal floors. Every corner felt heavy, as if the ship itself was holding its breath. At the center of the wreck was a massive sealed chamber. Its surface glowed faintly with strange symbols, alien language carved into the steel. For weeks, different alien engineers had tried to open it. They used plasma cutters, drills, even explosives, but nothing worked. The chamber rejected everything. To the soldiers guarding it, the chamber became a curse, something forbidden, something that did not want to be touched. But tonight, things changed. The human engineer, Daniel, stepped forward. He was not the strongest among them, not the most skilled in alien technology, but he was curious, brave in ways others were not. His eyes studied the glowing seal as if it was calling to him. The alien officers around him whispered nervously. "Their weapons ready. Stay back, human," one of them hissed. "The chamber is dangerous. It has resisted all who tried. Touching it means death." Daniel did not answer. His hand lifted slowly, the silence thick as the other soldiers shifted. His breath grew heavy, heart pounding, as if something inside the chamber was already aware of him. He felt a pull, not from his mind, but deep in his bones, like gravity itself was guiding him closer. When his fingers brushed against the seal, the glow pulsed. The aliens gasped, stepping backward, weapons raised in panic. For the first time since it was discovered, the sealed chamber reacted. The strange symbols flared brighter, spreading across the surface like veins of fire. The ground trembled. Daniel pulled his hand back in shock, but it was too late. The chamber had awakened. Loud hiss filled the room, metal grinding against itself. The seal cracked. A line of light split across the door, growing wider as the chamber unlocked itself, piece by piece. The sound was almost alive, like the chamber was breathing again after centuries of silence. The soldiers shouted in fear. Some demanded the human step away. Others pointed their weapons at him, blaming him for disturbing the tomb. Daniel's own team members looked at him with wide eyes, unsure if he had saved them or doomed them. The chamber door finally slid open. Inside was not a weapon, not treasure, not technology. It was a coffin, suspended in a clear capsule of glowing liquid. Was a woman, an alien woman, unlike any Daniel had ever seen. Her skin shimmered faintly, pale silver with streaks of glowing blue patterns that pulsed like veins of light. Her face was delicate, her lips slightly parted, her eyes closed as if she was in deep sleep. She looked peaceful, fragile, almost human. The silence was so heavy that Daniel could hear his own heartbeat. The alien officers muttered curses. One of them whispered, "No, it cannot be her. She was sealed away for a reason." Daniel took a step closer, staring at the woman. The capsule's surface glowed when he neared, reacting to him again, just like the seal. He reached out, and the glow brightened. It was clear, whatever lock held her here, it was tied to him. "Do not touch her," one alien commander barked, panic in his voice. "She is cursed. Her kind banished her. If she wakes, none of us will be safe." But Daniel could not look away. The woman inside seemed so alive, so fragile, as if she was waiting only for him. The capsule hissed. Cracks of light spread across its surface. The aliens screamed for him to stop. Some aimed their weapons, shouting that they must destroy her before she opened her eyes. But Daniel's hand pressed against the capsule without thinking. The surface grew hot under his palm. Then, silence. The capsule shattered with a blinding flash of light. The woman fell forward into Daniel's arms, her body trembling, liquid spilling onto the cold floor. Her skin was warm against him, her breath shallow. Slowly, her eyes opened bright silver with flecks of blue fire. She looked straight at Daniel, ignoring everyone else. Her lips parted, her voice weak but clear. "You broke the seal." The chamber shook violently as alarms across the ship began to scream. Something deep inside the wreck had awakened with her, and Daniel realized this was only the beginning. The alien woman's body was trembling in Daniel's arms, her breath shallow, her silver eyes glowing faintly in the dim light of the ruined ship. Every alien soldier in the chamber stood frozen, weapons shaking. In their hands, none dared to fire, not yet. The silence after her words, "You broke the seal," felt heavier than the ship's metal walls. Daniel held her carefully, confused and overwhelmed. He expected her to collapse like a prisoner freed from centuries of sleep. Instead, her eyes burned with strange fire, locked on him as if he was the only one in the room. The alien commander snarled, "Human, step away from her. Do you even know who she is?" That seal was meant to keep her hidden forever. But the woman stirred in Daniel's arms. Her voice was soft, almost broken, but carried weight. "Do not fear, I am not your enemy." Her words made the soldiers panic even more. Some shouted in their own language, others raised their rifles. Daniel saw the fear in their eyes, and he realized something. They were not afraid of her breaking free, they were afraid of what she represented. The capsule liquid still clung to her skin, glowing faintly, dripping down onto Daniel's jacket. Her hand, trembling, lifted slowly and touched his chest. The glow in her veins flickered brighter at the contact, as if his presence was feeding her strength. "Why, only you?" she whispered, her gaze never leaving his. Daniel wanted to ask her 100 questions, but alarms blared through the ship before he could speak. Red lights spun overhead, sirens echoing through the empty halls. The ground trembled as if the ship itself was alive again. The alien commander barked orders. "Contain her. If she escapes, we all die." The soldiers moved closer, rifles pointed. Daniel stepped back, instinctively shielding the woman. His own team, 3 humans in armored suits, looked torn. Their faces showed fear but also trust in Daniel. He had never led them wrong before. The alien woman pushed weakly against his chest, trying to stand. Her body shook, but her eyes burned with determination. "They will not let me live. I was sealed because I know the truth, and now they fear you because only you can free me completely." Her words twisted in Daniel's mind. Why him? Why did the chamber and capsule react only to his touch? The aliens had tried everything, but none could break the seal. Was it his DNA? His humanity? Or something deeper? The soldiers closed in, their voices rising with fear. "Kill her before she wakes fully." "Do it now," Daniel's team leader, Captain Hale, growled. "Stand down, she's not attacking." But his voice wavered. Even he did not know what to believe. The woman's breathing steadied. She straightened, her glowing patterns pulsing faster, like a heart beating through her skin. For the first time, her eyes scanned the room not with fear, but with warning. "They come," she said quietly. Daniel frowned. "Who comes?" The ship shuddered violently as if answering her. Distant explosions echoed through the metal halls. Somewhere deep inside, bulkhead doors slammed shut, trapping sections of the wreck. The aliens gasped in horror, some shouting in panic. The commander's face drained of color. "The hunters, they have found us." Before Daniel could ask, the woman clutched his arm tightly. Her strength was growing by the second. "Listen to me, human. The seal was not only a prison, it was a beacon. The moment you broke it, they knew. They will kill everyone on this ship to claim me." Daniel's chest tightened. He looked at his team, then at the alien soldiers who were now arguing among themselves. Fear spread like wildfire. Nobody trusted each other anymore. Suddenly, the lights above them flickered, and a low growl echoed through the corridors, mechanical and inhuman. Something was boarding the ship. The alien commander turned to his soldiers. "Form defensive lines." Do not let the hunters reach her. But Daniel noticed their eyes. They weren't protecting her. They were protecting themselves. If the hunters wanted her, these aliens would sooner kill her than let her be taken. The woman sensed it too. She leaned closer to Daniel, her breath warm against his ear. Only you can open the last seal. Without you, I am powerless. But with you, they will never touch me. Daniel's mind raced. He was just an engineer, not a soldier, not a hero. Yet somehow he had become the key to this nightmare. The soldiers saw her as a curse. The hunters saw her as a prize. And she saw him as her only hope. The ship's walls shook again, closer this time. A high-pitched screech cut through the alarms, the sound of something tearing through metal. Daniel's teammates raised their weapons. Fear etched on their faces. The alien woman took his hand suddenly, her grip firm, no longer weak. Her silver eyes blazed brighter. Decide now, human. Stand with me, or watch them all die. The chamber. Doors behind them exploded inward, flames and smoke rushing in. Silhouettes of monstrous figures stepped through, their weapons glowing with energy. The hunters had arrived, and Daniel realized there was no more time to think. The hunters stormed into the chamber, their armored bodies towering over the soldiers. Their helmets glowed with crimson light, their weapons humming with deadly energy. The moment they stepped through the smoke, every alien soldier raised their rifles, a firefight ready to erupt. But in the middle of it all, Daniel still held the alien woman's hand. Her grip had grown strong, her silver-blue veins pulsing like rivers of fire beneath her skin. She was no longer the fragile figure who collapsed from the capsule. She stood tall now, her body trembling not with weakness, but with power. Hunters saw her. Their leader stepped forward, his voice deep, mechanical. The sealed one, finally released. Step aside, human. She is not yours. Daniel's chest tightened. Every instinct told him to move, to survive. But the woman's eyes burned into his, steady and calm. She whispered only for him, do not let go. If you let go, they will take me. The hunters raised their weapons, and suddenly the alien soldiers opened fire. The chamber erupted into chaos. Sparks flew, smoke filled the air, bodies stumbled and fell. The hunters returned fire, their blasts tearing through steel walls. In the chaos, Daniel realized something terrifying. None of them cared about the humans. The war was for her. The woman closed her eyes. Her glowing patterns shifted, spreading across her arms, her neck, her face. When she opened her eyes again, they were brighter than before, like twin stars. For the first time, she spoke with strength, her voice echoing above the noise. Enough, the air vibrated. Every weapon in the room flickered and powered down. Even the hunters' rifles. Soldiers gasped, staring at their useless guns. The hunters froze, realizing their technology had been silenced. The chamber itself seemed to respond to her command. Daniel's heart pounded. He had seen machines fail. But never like this, never as if obeying a single voice. The hunters hissed in their language, retreating a step. The alien commander looked horrified. You said the seal was unbreakable. You said her power was gone. The woman turned slowly, her gaze sweeping across the chamber, her silver hair dripping with liquid, strands clinging to her glowing skin. She looked at them with sadness, not anger. You sealed me because you feared me. You feared what I could do. But I was never your enemy. The alien commander spat on the ground. Lies! You were cursed. A danger to all life. That's why we sealed you away. Her voice dropped, heavy with sorrow. No. I was sealed because I knew the truth. Daniel frowned. His mind raced. Truth? What truth could be so dangerous that her own kind buried her alive? Before he could ask, the hunters surged forward again, desperate, blades extending from their arms. Their leader roared, If we cannot take her alive, we will take her heart. The woman didn't flinch. She squeezed Daniel's hand tighter and whispered, "Stay with me." And then it happened. Her glow spread from her body into him. Daniel gasped as heat rushed through his veins, his vision flashing with strange lights. For a moment, he saw images, worlds burning, fleets of ships shattered. An ancient war fought long before humans walked the stars. And at the center of it all, her. He staggered, almost falling, but she steadied him. The hunters stopped mid-charge, staring in disbelief. One of them hissed, "The bond, it has begun." The alien soldiers shouted in panic, retreating. "Even." The commander's voice broke with fear. "No, stop this madness. Do not bind with him. You'll doom us all." Daniel struggled to breathe. What's happening to me?" The woman's eyes softened, even as power surged around them. "You opened my first seal. Now with you, the second begins to break. I cannot explain everything yet. But you must trust me." Daniel looked at her, sweat dripping from his forehead, chest tight with fear. He was just a human engineer. He wasn't supposed to be here, holding the fate of entire races in his hands. Yet when he looked at her, he couldn't let go. The hunters roared, breaking through the paralysis of fear. They lunged again, blades cutting through the air. The woman raised her other hand. A blast of light exploded outward, hurling the hunters back like ragdolls. Metal walls buckled under the force, alarms blaring across the ship. The floor trembled, dust falling from the ceiling. Daniel's knees weakened, but he stayed on his feet, her hands still locked with his. Her glow dimmed slightly, as if using her power drained her. She turned to him, voice barely a whisper now. "They will not stop. They will follow us to the ends of the galaxy. If you let me go, I will be theirs. But if you stay with me..." Her eyes searched his, filled with something deeper than fear. "We may have a chance." The chamber fell silent again, smoke curling around broken walls. The hunters groaned, rising slowly, their armor cracked but not destroyed. They were coming again. Daniel's team looked at him, waiting for his choice. The alien soldiers shouted, demanding her death. The hunters closed in, hungrier than before. And in the center of it all, Daniel held the alien woman's hand, her power flowing through him, her eyes begging him to decide. For the first time, he understood she was not just freed. She was awakened. And the galaxy would never be the same. Asterisk. The chamber reeked of smoke and burning metal. Sparks danced across the broken walls, and the hunters were still on their feet, their glowing red eyes fixed on Daniel and the alien woman. They moved slowly this time, careful, like predators circling prey. Daniel's team stood behind him, weapons shaking in their hands. They had fought battles before, but this was different. These weren't just enemies. These were creatures who had hunted across galaxies, and they had come for her. The alien commander pointed at the woman, his voice trembling with fury. "Do you see now, human? This is why she was sealed. She draws them to us like fire draws moths. Kill her before it is too late." Daniel's grip tightened on the woman's hand. He couldn't explain it, but something inside told him the commander was lying, or at least hiding the truth. If she was so dangerous, why were the hunters so desperate to capture her alive? The woman turned to him, her silver eyes glowing faintly. Her voice was soft, but steady. "They are bound to me. The moment you broke the seal, the beacon lit. They will not leave without me." The floor shook violently, metal beams collapsing from the ceiling. Somewhere deep inside the ship, more boarding pods crashed against the hull. The hunters weren't alone anymore. Reinforcements had arrived. The alien soldiers panicked, forming ranks, shouting orders that no one followed. Fear spread faster than discipline. The hunters were legend stories told to frighten children. Facing them in reality was something no soldier wanted. The woman squeezed Daniel's hand. "We cannot stay here. If they corner us in this chamber, we die." Daniel looked at Captain Hale, his team leader. Hale's jaw tightened. his weapon raised toward the hunters. For a moment, Daniel thought he'd give the order to fight. But instead, Halle gave him a short nod. "Go, we'll cover you." The words hit Daniel like a punch. "Cover us? Halle, that's suicide." Hale's eyes were steady. "Better us than the galaxy. Take her, Daniel. If what she says is true, she's the key to something bigger than this wreck." Daniel wanted to argue, but another explosion ripped through the ship. The walls trembled, and a section of the floor collapsed into darkness. The hunters advanced through smoke and fire, their red eyes unblinking. The woman pulled at his arm. "Move." Daniel didn't think. He followed her, leading her toward the back passage of the chamber. His team laid down fire, their bullets sparking against hunter armor. It slowed them, but not for long. As Daniel and the woman slipped into the corridor, the sound of gunfire and screams echoed behind them. He clenched his teeth, forcing himself not to look back. The corridor was dark, lit only by the faint glow of the woman's patterns. Her breathing was heavy, but she moved with surprising strength, pulling him forward. "They will chase us," she said. "They always chase, but together we can stay ahead." Daniel shook his head. "I don't even know who you are." "Why me? Why does the seal respond only to me?" Her eyes flickered toward him, unreadable. "Because you are human. And humanity was never meant to be part of this war. That is why you are the only one they did not expect." Before Daniel could ask more, the corridor behind them exploded. The hunters were forcing their way through, unstoppable. The woman pressed her palm to the wall. Strange symbols lit up under her touch, the same ones from the sealed chamber. A hidden passage opened, sliding silently. She pulled Daniel inside, sealing it behind them just as the hunter's footsteps echoed closer. The hidden chamber was smaller, filled with ancient machines long dead, their surfaces covered in dust. In the center stood a tall crystal-like structure, cracked but still glowing faintly. The woman's eyes softened as she touched it, almost lovingly. "This is why they want me," she whispered. "I carry the last fragments of this power inside me. And only you can unlock it." Daniel stared at her. "Fragments of what?" She met his eyes, her silver gaze sharp as a blade. "The weapon that ended the first war. The weapon your kind doesn't even know existed." His blood ran cold. He realized now why the hunters were so desperate, and why her people sealed her away. Whoever controlled her, controlled that weapon. Suddenly, pounding shook the hidden chamber door. The hunters had found them. Their claws screeched against the metal. The woman grabbed both his hands this time, her touch searing hot. "Daniel, listen to me. You cannot doubt now. If you let go, if you leave me, they will tear me apart. But if you stay together, we can unleash what they fear most." The pounding grew louder. The door began to bend inward. Daniel's mind spun. His team might already be dead. The ship was falling apart. He was just one human, out of his depth, dragged into a war he didn't understand. But when he looked at her, trembling yet unyielding, glowing with strange light, he felt something stronger than fear. A choice. He gritted his teeth, holding her hands tighter. "I'm not letting go." The chamber door burst open. The hunters stormed inside, and at that exact moment, the crystal behind them roared to life, its glow spreading across the walls, across the woman, across Daniel himself. Hunters stopped, their red eyes flickering with something they never showed before: fear. Asterisk. The hidden chamber shook as the crystal's light flared brighter, bathing everything in silver and blue. The hunters froze at the threshold, their weapons still, their red eyes flickering as if caught between rage and fear. Daniel felt the heat rush through his body again, stronger than before. It wasn't just energy, it was memory. Visions crashed into his mind. Alien fleets burning in the void, planets torn apart, and the same glowing woman standing at the center of it all, her hands raised against both armies. He staggered, gasping. What is this?" The woman's voice was steady, but filled with sorrow. "These are echoes. Pieces of what I was before they sealed me. They feared what I carried inside me. They feared what I could become." The crystal pulsed harder. When her hand tightened on his, the hunters hissed, their leader slamming a blade against the floor. The strike shook the chamber, but didn't break the glow. One of the alien soldiers who had followed them, face pale with terror, whispered, "She's forming the bond with a human." The words spread like poison. Even Daniel's own team, those who survived the firefight, looked at him with shock. Their eyes said what their mouths did not. Why him? Why her? Daniel's chest tightened. He wanted to let go, to break away from the woman before he drowned in her visions. But every time he tried, his body refused. It wasn't chains. It wasn't control. It was something else. Something inside him didn't want to let go. The woman turned her gaze to him, soft and sharp at the same time. "You are not like them. You feel it, don't you? The seal chose you." He swallowed hard. "I'm just an engineer. I fix broken machines. I'm not chosen for anything." Her lips curved into the faintest smile, one filled with sadness. "That is why you were chosen. You do not crave power. You do not seek war. And that makes you dangerous to both sides." The pounding on the door grew louder. The hunters were regaining their courage. The commander outside barked orders, demanding she be taken dead or alive. The woman's eyes flickered with pain. "If they kill me, the bond breaks. If they capture me, they will use me to awaken the weapon again. And the galaxy will burn a second time." Daniel's hands shook as he gripped hers tighter. "Then what do you want from me?" Her answer was simple. "Stay." His throat went dry. Such a small word, but it carried the weight of 1,000 stars. Before he could respond, the hunters breached the chamber. They stormed inside, blades drawn, their heavy steps shaking the floor. The woman closed her eyes and whispered, "Together." Crystal behind them flared like a dying sun. Light spilled into Daniel's chest, his bones feeling like they were on fire. He cried out, his body shaking, but she held him steady. The glow from her skin spread into his, silver veins burning through his arms. The hunters roared in anger, slashing at the light, but their blades passed through harmlessly. One after another, they fell back, stumbling as if a storm pushed them. Daniel felt her heartbeat in his chest. It wasn't his, it was hers, beating with his own, perfectly matched. "This is the bond," she said softly, her forehead almost touching his. "It was forbidden because it makes us one. My power flows through you. Your will flows into me. With this, we cannot be controlled." Her words shook him more than the visions. He realized now why her people had sealed her, why the hunters wanted her. The bond wasn't just power, it was freedom from every chain. The alien commander screamed in horror. "Kill them both. End this now." But the hunters hesitated. Even they feared the bond. The woman pulled Daniel closer, her voice trembling, with something between desperation and hope. "Do you trust me, human?" Daniel's chest heaved, sweat dripping down his face. His team watched, silent, not daring to interrupt. Around him, enemies closed in, weapons raised. He met her silver gaze, his fear colliding with something stronger. "I don't know what you are. I don't know what I've become. But yes, I trust you." Her lips parted, relief flashing across her face. For the first time since she awakened, she looked alive. Truly alive. The crystal cracked, shattering into 1,000 shards of light that swirled around them. The chamber howled with energy, the air heavy like the weight of a storm. The hunters lunged forward in desperation, and in that moment, Daniel and the alien woman moved as one. Her hands rose, his arms guiding hers. A wave of silver fire erupted from their bond, blasting outward in a sphere of pure force. The hunters screamed as they were hurled against the walls, armor cracking. weapons torn from their hands. The chamber floor split, metal tearing like paper. The entire ship groaned, alarms screaming louder than ever. When the light faded, the hunters lay, broken but alive, crawling back in terror. None dared step forward again. Daniel collapsed to his knees, chest heaving. The woman knelt with him, still holding his hands, her face inches from his. "You chose me," she whispered. "Now you are bound to me, until the last seal is broken. We are one." Daniel's blood ran cold. He didn't know if that was a promise or a curse. Asterisk. The chamber still glowed faintly from the explosion of silver fire. Shards of the crystal floated like dust in the air, slowly fading into nothing. The hunters had been thrown back, broken but alive, crawling away into the smoke. None dared attack again. Daniel knelt on the floor, his chest rising and falling, like he had run for miles. His skin still shimmered faintly, silver veins glowing before fading back to normal. Across from him, the alien woman held his hands, her face calm, but her eyes filled with something he could not name. Relief, sorrow, hope, and fear, all at once. "You are stronger than I thought," she whispered, but the silence didn't last. Boots echoed behind them. Daniel turned to see his team. Captain Hall, blood on his cheek, stared at him with wide, conflicted eyes. The other two humans aimed their rifles, not at the hunters, not at the aliens, but at her. "Daniel," Holly said. Slowly, his voice heavy, "Step away from her." Daniel froze. "What?" Hale's weapon didn't waver. "We don't know what she is. We don't know what she just did to you. You saw it yourself. Whatever this bond is, it's not human. And it's not safe." Daniel's throat went dry. His team, the people he trusted most, were looking at him like he was a stranger. The alien commander seized the moment, stepping forward with fury in his voice. "You see now, human, even your own kind knows the truth. That creature is cursed. She was sealed for a reason, because she cannot be controlled. Kill her before she kills us all." The soldiers who had survived their own ranks muttered in agreement, some raising their weapons too. Their fear filled the chamber thicker than the smoke. The woman squeezed Daniel's hand gently. Her voice was soft but steady. "This is the choice, Daniel. This is why they fear the bond. They will force you to choose me or them. There is no middle path." Daniel's heart thundered. His team, his commander, his people. They were demanding one thing. And the woman who had trusted only him, the one who said their bond could save the galaxy, was asking another. Hale's jaw tightened. "Daniel, listen to me. We're soldiers. We follow orders. And the order is clear: contain her or kill her. If you stand with her, you're standing against us." Daniel's stomach twisted. He had never disobeyed Holly before. He had never felt this torn, this lost. The alien commander pointed a clawed finger. "If you defend her, human, you doom your species. Do not be a fool. One woman's life is not worth the death of galaxies." The woman's grip tightened on Daniel's hand, her silver eyes locked on him. "They want to silence me because I know the truth. Because I carry the last piece of what they fear most. You feel it too. You know I am not lying. Only you can keep me free." Daniel's hands shook. His mind screamed to think, to weigh, to decide. But the pounding of boots outside the chamber grew louder. The hunters weren't gone. Reinforcements were coming. They had only moments left before the next wave arrived. Hale's voice cracked like a whip. "Daniel, step away." "That's an order." The woman's voice overlapped his, urgent but calm. "Stay with me. That's a choice." The silence that followed was heavier than any battle. The air itself seemed to wait for his decision. Daniel's head spun. He saw Hale's face, the man who had led him through fire before, the man he trusted like a brother. He saw the alien commander, desperate, almost begging for her death. And then he looked at her, fragile and powerful, dangerous and innocent, bound to him in a way he Could not explain that his hand squeezed hers tighter. "No," he whispered. "I'm not leaving her." Gasps echoed in the chamber. Hale's weapon trembled. His soldiers cursed under their breath. Even the alien commander stepped back in disbelief. Hale's voice broke with anger. "Daniel, don't do this. She's not human." She's alive." Daniel cut him off, his voice sharper than he expected. "She trusted me when no one else did. And I can't betray that." The alien woman's silver eyes glowed brighter. For the first time she smiled, not with victory, but with gratitude. The chamber door burst open again. This time, dozens of hunters stormed inside, their red eyes blazing, weapons raised. The moment of decision had passed. The storm was here. Daniel stood, pulling the woman up with him, his hands still locked with hers. "If you want her, you'll have to go through me," the hunters roared. The alien soldiers shouted. Hale's team hesitated, torn between loyalty and fear. And in the middle of it all, Daniel felt the bond surge again, hotter, stronger. His choice had been made. For better or worse, there was no turning back. The chamber erupted into chaos. Hunters poured through the doors, their red eyes glowing, weapons raised. Alien soldiers fired wildly, screams echoing as bolts of energy lit the smoke-filled air. Daniel's own team stood frozen, half aiming at the hunters, half aiming at the alien woman. No one trusted anyone anymore, but Daniel didn't let go of her hand. The bond pulsed stronger now, his veins burning with silver light. He could hear her heartbeat inside his chest, matching his own. The alien woman's eyes glowed brighter than ever, her face calm even as the storm closed in. The hunter's leader pointed a massive blade at them and roared, "The sealed one belongs to us. Break the human, and she will yield." Their soldiers surged forward like a wave. Daniel's instincts screamed to run, but the woman held his hand tighter, pulling him close. Her voice was steady, almost gentle. "The last seal is inside me. They want it. They fear it. But only you can break it open." Daniel shook his head. "I don't know how." "I'm not. You already began it," she interrupted. "When you chose me over them, the final chain cracked. Now you must finish it." The hunters charged, the air filled with fire and steel. Daniel raised his arm out of instinct, and a blast of silver energy erupted from his palm, slamming the hunters back into the walls. Gasps filled the chamber. Even Daniel staggered, staring at his hand in disbelief. Hale's voice cut through the noise. "Daniel, stop this. You don't know what you're doing. That power isn't yours, it's hers using you." The alien commander shouted above him. "Kill them before the bond completes. If the last seal breaks, nothing will stop her." Daniel's heart pounded. His own people, the alien soldiers, the hunters, everyone was against them. He turned to the woman, desperate. "If I break this seal, what happens to me?" Her silver eyes softened, shimmering with pain. "You stop being only human." His throat tightened. "And if I don't? Then I am theirs," she whispered. "And the galaxy burns." The hunters surged again, blades scraping across the floor. One swung at Daniel's head. He ducked, the woman's grip pulling him back. Energy burst from their bond again, flinging the attacker aside. The woman pressed closer, her forehead against his. "Daniel, choose. Now." The world slowed. The gunfire, the shouting, the pounding of boots, all of it faded. He saw only her eyes, silver light trembling like stars, begging him not for power, but for trust. He closed his eyes and let go of fear. The bond exploded. Silver fire roared from his body, flooding the chamber. The crystal shards still floating in the air spun together, drawn by the energy. The ground cracked open, metal walls tearing apart. The hunters screamed as their armor melted. Alien soldiers fell to their knees, blinded by the light. Even Hallway staggered back, shielding his face. Daniel's body shook as the last seal shattered. inside her and flowed into him. He wasn't just seeing visions now, he was living them. Entire wars flashed before his eyes, fleets destroyed in seconds, civilizations begging for mercy. The power was endless, terrifying. He thought it would consume him. But then he felt her voice inside his mind, soft and steady. "You're not alone. We carry it together." The fire steadied. The storm became focus. Daniel opened his eyes. The two hunters froze. The alien commander collapsed to the floor, whispering prayers of fear. His own team stared at him like he was something no longer human. The woman stood at his side, her glow finally calm, her hand still locked in his. For the first time since she awakened, her body didn't tremble. The hunter's leader growled, wounded but defiant. "This is not the end. Power like that cannot be contained. It will break you. It always breaks." Daniel's voice was quiet, but unshaken. "Maybe, but it won't be you who decides that." The hunters retreated into the smoke, dragging their injured. Alien soldiers fled, leaving their commander behind. Halle lowered his weapon slowly, his face torn between loyalty to Daniel and fear of what he had become. The chamber was silent again. Daniel looked at the woman. "So, what now?" She studied him, her silver eyes soft, almost human. "Now we run. They will never stop chasing us. Not until they claim me. Not until they break you. But as long as you choose me, they will fail." Daniel exhaled, a shaky laugh escaping his lips. "I never wanted this. I never wanted any of this." Her lips curved into the faintest smile. "Neither did I, but now we have each other." For a long moment, they just stood in the wreckage, two fugitives, bound by a power greater than either of them understood. Outside, the ship groaned, ready to collapse. The galaxy beyond waited, full of enemies who wanted them dead or enslaved. Daniel squeezed her hand tighter. Whatever came next, there was no turning back. Together, they stepped into the smoke. The sealed chamber was gone, but the bond had just begun.